everybody. Welcome to our RAADfest 2022 sneak peek webinar. My name is Joe Bardeen. I'm the communications director for RAADfest, and we are really happy to be connecting with you in this way. This is a little bit like RAADfest already, right? Yeah, we've got some of our top people in super longevity and longevity with us today who are going to give you just a taste of what they're going to be presenting at RAADfest. It really is it's a fantastic program that we've got this year. I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to hearing the latest. There is a lot happening in this space. There's a lot of advancement going on. It's inspiring to know it's happening. It's encouraging to know it's happening. And it's also important to know what we can do right now for our health and our longevity. And you're going to be hearing a bit about that today. And we want you to register for RAADfest. What can we say?
Absolutely. That's the key. That's the key.
We want you to be there with us. It's going to be really informative and actually inspiring too. And you make it more inspiring for us.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah, there is a communal experience. Most tribes of people have a communal experience around what's important to them, right? And there is a communal experience around longevity and super longevity. That's important. It's important to us. It's important to experience that. It's important to experience you're not alone. It's important to experience, get other people's viewpoints, to share insights, share what works, also share what doesn't work. We're in a revolutionary moment in longevity, and it's not particularly programmatic. So we don't always know exactly how to do what. And there's nothing quite like conversing with other people to get clear on what's available and what's appropriate for you. So this is my pitch to you to encourage you to register for RAADfest. And I want to let you know also right now there is a special offer, which is for every regular registration at RAADfest, you can add on as many guest registrations as you want for $200 less. That's for what we call the activist package. So you can get in on that right now. And for every person who registers at the regular price, which I believe is $851, you can register for $200 less than that, and you can register as many people as you want for that. You can start a business.
There you go.
You can start a multi-level marketing business if you want, and take that money and pocket it. We'll be very happy if you do that. But anyway, take advantage of that offer. So to get us going here, I want to introduce my fellow colleagues here. James Stroll is the director of the Coalition for Radical Life Extension, which puts on RAADfest, and the co-founder of People Unlimited, and his partner at People Unlimited is the co-founder, Bernadine. And how are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for that opening too. Yep. Yeah, it's important for us to really be active with each other. So we're excited about getting back together.
Yeah. Super. So you want to take a minute to tell people like what your vision of RAADfest is, and for those people who don't know?
Yeah. Go ahead, Brent.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I have to tell you, I am really privileged to be with all of you today. And of course, I'm excited about RAADfest. We're going to hear about so many things that we haven't heard about yet. Some new innovations that I am really, really looking forward to hearing about. I like being alive, and I think we have a right to like that. I think that we're moving now, all of us together, to bring about our society that gives us more and more time to enjoy who we are. So I'm really looking forward to being with all of you in RAADfest. It's going to be a most amazing time together.
Yeah, beautiful, Bernie. First, I want to thank everybody, all the presenters for being on here with us. We're going to have a great time today, and I'm looking forward to being with you at RAADfest, of course. And all the listeners, thank you for being on. We want to be with you live. We've been, as many of you know, we've been virtual for a couple years. So we want to be with you live in San Diego at RAADfest because there's so much happening. I mean, even though in many areas there's been, stopping point for a lot of people in this world because of the pandemic, but this progress and super longevity has not stopped during this whole time. And so much more information and knowledge has come out that we want to share with you. You'll be able to apply this information. It's not just knowledge but you'll be able to experience hands-on different applications, different innovations that you will be able to use to stay healthier longer, to be not only live longer, but live with vitality and strength.
Right.
But it's very important to get for all the listeners that, you can come online like this, and this is great. I'm glad we have the internet, but you don't learn as good as being in person. When you're in person, there's a connection that happens between people of sharing information and inspiration that actually increases the learning process and enables us to get to where we want to get as far as bettering our health, strengthening us in every way. And also the inspirational part of that we need to be inspired daily to keep moving for our lives, to not let anything discourage us or set us back. And that's what Bernie and I do on that level. And we're actually very grateful and excited to do that. We get a lot of great comments from people about their gratefulness for our role in this too, of inspiring people to keep going, to not give up on their lives on any level, to really know that there's a power within us that we have to tap into in our own bodies to have that strength moving and help create these new innovations and to support all of our great scientists and doctors that, like we have on today, to keep moving and to move with a vastness in their own person to create what we need to create in our time. We all want to live. We don't want to pass this on to another generation. Okay.
Right.
We need to stop aging and death now. And whether you want to live an unlimited lifespan or just as long as you can, really healthy, all these options need to be on the table, and they are. So we're excited about we're really looking forward, and because being in person, we haven't seen a lot of you that will be coming to RAADfest for a couple years, and we're looking forward to meeting a lot of you new people who are listening and have this feeling in your own body of wanting to stay alive. It's a magnificent thing. I mean, you wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't have some real feeling about wanting to live longer and better. And that's what we're about. And we're really the only event on the planet that really focuses on staying alive and unlimited lifespans. So we're excited to be with you, like I said, today, and we're looking forward to being present with you at RAADfest in San Diego. So register for this event because it'll be the best. You'll be so happy you did. Thank you.
That was great, Jim. Yeah, we want to amplify. We want to amplify what we're about, and we want to amplify with you. So today that we are going to hear from now, and we're going to hear just 5 minutes. These guys could talk for weeks, months, and years on their topics, I'm sure, and they're going to speak for 5 minutes just to give you a taste of what they're going to bring to RAADfest. Our first presenter is Dr. Kiprov, who is a Harvard-trained immunologist, and he is internationally recognized pioneer in the field of apheresis, which is, we also call that therapeutic plasma exchange. He has more than 100 publications on the subject and a pending patent. Dr. Kiprov has served 2 terms on the board of directors of the American Society of Apheresis and is currently a member of the board of directors of the International Society for Apheresis. So please welcome Dr. Dobry Kiprov.
Thanks, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here. And some of you who are members of RAAD and have visited some of the previous meetings may remember that 6 or 7 years ago, in one of the first meetings of RAAD, I introduced the concept of using therapeutic plasma exchange for extending health span and eventually lifespan as well. Since then, we have made considerable progress. In the meantime, we have published several papers in prominent journals describing what we do and why we do believe that what we do is the correct approach. In these papers, we also were able to elucidate some of the mechanisms of aging. As you probably know, and some of you probably feel, the process of aging is very complex. And we have been able to identify new lines of understanding of how aging really ages us and makes us less comfortable, less strong, and can we possibly prevent the acceleration of these issues. I will discuss also the translation of an animal model that was developed by the family of Irina and Michael Comboy when they were in Stanford. It's an animal model called parabriosis, and we were able to translate that into humans, which is not an easy task. And we went through a variety of hurdles, but eventually we got it right. And it is worth mentioning that we change our protocols and our approach as we move along and we learn every day. There are new things that we implement. There are new things that come from other scientists that we implement. So the process is moving, and I will introduce you to what these advances have been in the longevity field and also in the field of age-related diseases such as Alzheimer's disease. We have progressed from anecdotal reports of success. Very few people report unsuccess, but there are reports of success, and we have extended that into clinical trials, both uncontrolled as well as controlled. I would like to acknowledge some foundations that have helped us through this process, namely the Foster Foundation, that has been very generous for us and continues to be generous. And I may also show you some videos of how plasmapheresis works, because it's a complex procedure. We will discuss the possible side effects of the procedure, and we'll answer all your questions. I know that I have more time, but I'll stop here and give somebody else the podium. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Kiprov. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to hear what the latest is in the therapeutic plasma exchange. I don't think we've heard much about that recently, so
that's right.
That's a really good area.
Yeah,
our next presenter, Dr. Robert Lufkin, is a clinical professor at USC Keck School of Medicine. He served as a full professor at both UCLA David Giffen School of Medicine and USC, and with a current academic focus on the applied science of longevity. He has done some really interesting work with rapamycin and data, and let's just bring on Dr. Robert Lufkin.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm really excited to be presenting today a little bit, and then at RAADfest, about the latest information about what is arguably the single most powerful longevity drug known. Interestingly, rapamycin was discovered in just the second half of the 20th century in a remote tropical island called Rapa Nui. And this led to the discovery of one of the most important protein sensing proteins throughout all of biology. And it has the simple name TOR, which stands for target of rapamycin, or mTOR sometimes, which is mechanistic target of rapamycin. This mTOR is conserved throughout plants and animals, all the way from yeast to human beings. It's a fundamental part of every cell, practically. Now, what does mTOR do? There's growing evidence that mTOR drives inflammation and also insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction, which contribute to the chronic diseases of aging. And this also, as we're going to see, will affect longevity. Now, the key point is rapamycin is a very specifically targeted drug that targets one complex of mTOR and turns it down to turn up autophagy and turn down inflammation. So what happens when we turn down mTOR with rapamycin? Well, first of all, let's look at the phenotypes of aging. Everybody recognizes maybe gray hair or wrinkles or, maybe loss of hair with aging. mTOR, when applied in animal models as well as some human models, actually reverses slows down and reverses some of the skin changes of aging with collagen and basilar membrane. And that's after just a few weeks of use. In fact, the FDA just approved a rapamycin cream in April for another application separate from wrinkles, but it will almost certainly be used as an off-label use in this area. Other phenotypes of aging, periodontal disease, 70% of 70-year-olds have periodontal disease. Rapamycin not only slows down periodontal disease, but reverses it in the animal model. It's now being used in a human trial. Also, hearing loss, ovarian failure, commonly known what we call menopause. Rapamycin also works and slows that down and reverses it. But wait a minute, those are the phenotypes of aging. That doesn't determine longevity. Nobody dies of wrinkles or even periodontal disease usually, or menopause. What determines death and longevity? Well, those are the chronic diseases. And the big three we'll be talking about are cancer, Alzheimer's, and cardiovascular disease. So what happens when rapamycin is applied to these particular diseases? Well, first of all, cardiovascular disease. One of the earliest FDA indications for rapamycin is to coat cardiovascular stents, which are placed in the coronary arteries when you have a heart attack that are occluded, and it reverses that. As far as cancer, there are 2 FDA indications of rapamycin that specifically target cancer, metastatic renal cell cancer and one other cancer. There's a lot of evidence that it reverses that as well, or it has a positive effect on it. And Alzheimer's disease too, as well. There's an effect, rapamycin, that we'll be talking about at RAADfest, that improves the biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease. And there's now a clinical trial, a small pilot study at the University of Texas with humans with Alzheimer's disease. But those are the chronic diseases. What about longevity itself? What's the evidence there? Well, human evidence for longevity is very difficult just because the lifespan, but there is a gold standard longevity trial from the National Institutes of Aging called the Interventions Testing Program, where mice, which live about 3 years, are given drugs, different drugs and medicines, anything. We can even suggest them. They've been given resveratrol, metformin, curcumin, even green tea. And there's no effect on longevity on that. But when this gold standard longevity trial these animals were given rapamycin, rapamycin was the only drug that consistently, repeatedly, and sometimes dramatically prolonged the lifespan in these animals in this. So I can't wait to talk more about this fascinating subject and really get into it at the upcoming RAADfest meeting in October, and hope to see you all there.
Perfect. I think you did that to within 3 seconds.
Good job. Good job.
That was fantastic. And listen, another benefit of RAADfest is we will not freeze on you. So we had a little bit of moment of freezing. Aren't you tired of brilliant people freezing on Zoom on you? Come to RAADfest. There won't be any freezing going on. And Dr. Lufkin also is drawing these insights from data, which is a very interesting collection of data on rapamycin that I don't think has been available before, and that's where that Dr. Lufkin's going to be talking about at RAADfest. So I just wanted to add that as well. Our next speaker, Dr. Bill Andrews, is the founder and CEO of Sierra Sciences, and I got to decide which part of his bio I'm going to read to you. There's so much good stuff. He's the inventor of 50+ U.S. patents issued on telomerase, and the author of numerous scientific research studies published in peer-reviewed scientific journals. And he's formed a team of scientists who dedicated their time to discover telomerase inducers. He's one of the leading thinkers and researchers on telomerase, Dr. Bill Andrews.
Thank you very much. I'm also very excited to be speaking at RAADfest again this year. So far, we've heard both health span and lifespan mentioned today. And we always hear that health span is more important than lifespan. I agree with that because none of us want to live a long time if we're all going to be sitting in hospital beds with tubes sticking out of us. We got to have a higher quality of life too. So health span is very important. But nevertheless, we don't want lifespans limiting our health spans. And that's something, so we have to look at both problems. We have to figure out ways to solve both problems, not just the problems that are limiting our health spans, but also the problems that are limiting our lifespans. And dealing with health span alone is not going to provide us with super longevity. And that's one of the things that I want to focus on. And I want to make it clear, whenever I'm talking about aging, I'm always talking about both health span and lifespan. So at RAADfest this year, like other years, I'll be talking about a truly bona fide barrier to our lifespan that might in theory also be a barrier to our health span, but it's still just a theory. And that is telomere length. I've been talking about telomere length for a long time, but I haven't really emphasized before how important it is to the barrier of our lifespan. And it's not a theory. It's actually a fact that telomeres actually affect lifespan. Anybody working with human cells in a petri dish knows that the lifespan of their cells they're working with are very limited by lifespan. They reach a limit called the Hayflick limit because of telomere shortening. There are other things that can bring senescence on too. Hayflick limit is also the same as senescence. But telomeres is a major thing that absolutely does bring on senescence and does limit our lifespans. I mean, a lot of people do find this kind of hard to understand because of mouse data. There's a lot of mouse data that might contradict that. But I want to make it clear that mice do not age completely. There's a lot of similarities, but they don't age completely like humans do. And a major difference is their telomere biology. And I can't exactly explain why. We probably have to talk with the gods of evolution to figure out why they made such a difference between humans and mice, but it is a major difference. So, but at RAADfest this year, I will be discussing what telomeres are. I'll be discussing why they affect lifespan and health and possibly health span. And I'm going to be showing why telomere length gives us a theoretical maximum lifespan of only 125 years. And it's none of us actually live that long because we don't have the perfect genetics or live the perfect lifestyles. But if we did, our lifespans would still be limited to 125 years because of telomere shortening. And telomere shortening can also limit further the lifespan of our organs and our tissues. A lot of the major diseases that we suffer from are caused by telomere shortening, causing senescence of various tissues, of cells in various tissues and organs of our body. And I also want to explain why there's absolutely nothing we can do about that yet. Everything you hear about right now that we can do, and a lot of good things to extend our health span. I want everybody to pay close attention to them, but none of them are going to actually help us live beyond this theoretical maximum that's caused by telomere shortening. Now, I'm going to be explaining how my company, Sierra Sciences, is doing research to try to figure out a way to prevent this major obstacle of telomere shortening. We're doing it in two different ways. One is telomerase gene induction. I forgot to mention that there is an enzyme called telomerase that's naturally found inside of our cells that actually does keep our telomeres from shortening in our reproductive cells. So we just need to figure out a way to get that telomerase enzyme to work in all of our cells. We're using what is called telomerase gene induction and also telomerase gene therapy to solve that problem. And during the presentation, I also want to talk about the obstacles that are standing in our way of actually getting this research done. But my mission is I hope that we all live healthy and fully alive, especially myself, for 500 years. And I'm hoping that that's one thing that RAADfest can help us all with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Great to hear from you. Our next presenter is Dr. Sandra Kaufman. Good to have Dr. Sandra Kaufman back with us. She is, her day job is, I think that's a fair way to call it, Chief of Pediatric Anesthesia at the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. But many of us know Dr. Kaufman's Kaufman Protocol, where she has helped start initiating a more programmatic approach to anti-aging and age reversal. And she has a new book, which means she has a lot of new ways for us to go at or take charge of our longevity. So here is Dr. Sandra Kaufman.
So thank you, everyone. I am, like everyone else, I am excited to be coming to RAADfest. It is really going to be nice to actually see people and talk to people, because that's where collaboration and excitement grows. And as a small caveat, I recently went back to my hometown. People my age or our age are ready to retire, see their grandkids, they're obese, they're losing their hair. And I felt like odd man out. So coming to RAADfest means that I won't be odd man out anymore. We're with people with similar thoughts and plans for the future rather than just dying. So anyway, caveat over. The second thing I want to do is use this as an advertisement. So as advertised, I don't know if that's in focus or not, new book is out and available. And thank you very much to People Unlimited and to Bill for reading it, or at least I hope you read it, and writing a very nice quote on the back. But what it is, it's 28 new agents. It took me 3 years to do this, so this is very researched. And along the way, there's a whole lot of new scientific things that we need to be thinking about on a cellular level. Because there's so many things, I'm actually having trouble trying to figure out what to talk about at RAADfest. So I was also going to, the third thing here, the goal was to crowdsource. So I was hoping I was going to list a few items and then everyone can email me and tell me what you want to know more about. So at this point, options include a deep dive into 3 or 4 very cool agents. For example, fisetin is absolutely amazing and part of a daily ritual now. Lactoferrin, spermidine, they're just a variety of just amazing, amazing compounds that are now available. 2, we can talk about cellular processes. I took a deep dive into the mitochondrial transition pore that we really have to get under control over the course of time. We have to control DNA stability, DNA protection, that sort of thing. We need to figure out as well, I know here everyone is protecting or activating rather their sirtuin-1s. We've never really talked about sirtuin-3 and sirtuin-6. So that is another thing that we really need to take care of that I talk about. And then lastly, I've been absolutely obsessed with the pathway of glycation. I've decided that there are 7, maybe 8, because I may throw an extra step in there, ways to actually defeat glycation, both with pharmaceuticals, diet change, and then nutraceuticals. And I believe that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on, as well as the introduction of a few agents that we can use in our armamentarium for that. Just as an example, one of my new favorite things is something called lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a very basic, simple molecule, comes from breast milk of mammals. And the cool thing about it, actually, well, many things, but number one, we've all had it, right? We all mammals, so we all drank it theoretically at some point. And it's called lactoferrin because it carries iron. But what it actually does is when it's not carrying iron, it bonds to AGEs. If you picture the molecule, it looks a bit like a barbell. So there's one glob on one side, one glob on the other, a little cross bridge in the middle. And it actually can take out 2 molecules of AGEs that are preformed. So it's amazing. I can consider it an AGE sponge. And it does a variety of other things, but it's just absolutely cool in the armamentarium against glycation. Anyway, there are so many things that we could talk about at RAADfest that I am going to leave this up to the crowdsourcing people out there. Please email me. Everyone has my email. Tell me what you want to hear about, and I will give it a go and give you all the information I can.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you get to customize your content at RAADfest. Yeah, that's really cool. And Fortunately for me, I take lactoferrin, so I feel very, like with it right at this
Our
moment.
dogs take lactoferrin.
Even our dogs. They're doing great, let me tell you.
They are.
We could talk about our dogs at RAADfest,
Unbelievable.
Jim.
We should bring them and show it to everybody.
Like we're like those dog people that spend all this time talking about their dog.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's great. So give Dr. Kaufman that feedback, and we'll see where that lands. Our next presenter is Liz Parrish, who founded and serves as CEO of BioViva Sciences USA, and we know her as a great advocate for gene therapy and for advancing pragmatic uses of gene therapy, not decades down the road, but right now. And here is Liz Parrish.
So I guess you probably know what I'm going to talk about. So during my presentation, I'll be talking about gene therapy, past, present, and future. Of course, the present is probably more interesting than you think these days, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little research around gene therapy that we've been embarking upon and are in the midst of, but we do have one paper out about it now. I'm going to talk to you about the importance of patient data and sharing that data so that the longevity community can actually work on that data and see what's working for you and what isn't working for you as we work towards precision medicine. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the importance of patient access and an initiative that I'm working on with at least one other person in this group today, and soon to be many others, to push towards a new legal system in which people could get access to new technology that isn't yet in clinical trials for patients, especially who are terminally ill or have no other treatment for their condition right here in the United States or potentially in the country that you're in right now. So we're going to be pushing towards a global movement towards that, and I'll talk more about that, how that might benefit you and what you need to do to ensure that that happens. And I think that's about it.
Excellent.
Okay, great.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a specific focus on dementia with gene therapy. Is that right, Liz?
Oh, yeah, of course. That is going to be one of the big initiatives that we talk about, is a new fundraiser that we're doing for the treatment of 10 patients in a investigator-led clinical trial that will hopefully reproduce the data that we assessed with integrative health systems about, well, almost 2 years ago now that started, but we'll be coming up on second year data soon. So yeah, this is really exciting. So not only are we going to be talking about patient access in the United States in the future, but we're going to talk about getting people access to dementia treatment within the next year.
Yeah, so that's real breakthrough stuff. We're excited about that. Our next presenter and final presenter is Bill Faloon, who's co-founder of the Life Extension Foundation and has dedicated his life to identifying medicine and technology aimed at enabling people to live longer in good health with no upper longevity limit. Here is Bill Faloon.
Good afternoon, group. I'm going to be giving the opening keynote speech at RAADfest. That's on Thursday evening, the day that RAADfest opens. And there are more topics to discuss in that 55-minute talk, as we've been saying all along, than what that time permits. In fact, what's happened over the last 12 months is that there have been more initiatives and more advances in the field of age delay and age reversal than any other 12-month period in human history that I'm aware of. More advances. And I'm going to describe as many of those as I can, everything that's happened since last year's RAADfest. Last year's RAADfest around October 1st, 2021. Well, that next 12 months, over that next 12 months, huge advances across the board, across a wide range of disciplines as to how we can slow down aging and how research is doing it in the laboratory to put it in reverse. And of course, what we want to do is apply that to humans. So I'm going to talk about everything that's happened since RAADfest as quickly as I can, and then move in to what people need to do today to avail themselves to this technology. And one is, what is an optimized diet? That's something that's been controversial for probably over 100 years, but the pieces have come together in a way that we can say for certain, if you eat a certain way, and we're not talking about anything radical, but just change your dietary habits in a minimal way, you can add perhaps 8 or more years to your average lifespan. Those 8 or more years then buy you access to the future when gene therapy and CRISPR and all kind of other technologies emerge to enable you to live a lot longer. We're looking at transcription factors at this point that reprogram old cells back into youthful cells as a way to regenerate old people. And it's working in the laboratory model. In March 2022, an announcement was made of the Salk Institute where they were able to induce partial systemic age reversal in a group of mice. And those mice, they had all the indicators of much more youthful structure and function, and the tissues measured. It made worldwide headlines, and yet it disappeared after a day or two because of, well, the war and politics and other issues that distract people from what's happening. But what's been happening, as I said, last 12 months, more advances, more initiatives being launched to gain total control over aging in our lifetime. This is what the science is heading towards. And if people understand that, they would pack RAADfest like they do a Rolling Stones concert. There should be 50,000 people there to listen to that, because when I think of the older people suffering needlessly because they just don't know about simple techniques that they can use to buy themselves time now, because taking advantage of future technology is our ultimate goal. There are clinical trials initiating. Some of them are going on right now, clinical trials that aim to replicate what's been happening in animal models to see what happens to elderly humans. Are we able to take an elderly human and transform them back in time? That is being worked on. I may be able to report findings at RAADfest. If not, you'll get an email the next month or two to see if that's working. Joe, I can't really read that, so you tell me when I'm running out of time. Okay, 39 seconds. And I'll conclude my talk at RAADfest with more data about the potential of living forever. More and more established people are talking about that. In fact, more people over the last 12 months have talked about the prospect of immortality than any other time in history. That's because the data is pointing towards unlimited, healthy human lifespans moving forward. So I can only tell you, at conferences, that's where I've made my connections to grow life extension into what it is. And I am now running out of my 5-minute allotment. I'll be happy to answer any questions from the group. Thank you very much.
Wow, good job,
That
everybody.
was great.
Good job,
Very
everybody.
good. That was really good. Everybody did a good job.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
True to form, Bill used every second.
Every
That
second.
was very efficient.
Well done.
So yeah, thank you everybody for running through very briefly what you're going to expand upon at RAADfest. And now we want to give our panel a chance to talk about something other than their own presentation that they're looking forward to at RAADfest.
Yeah.
So who wants to you could just chime in.
Well, I think what people should really think about is the unexpected. They may run into something at RAADfest that they would have no idea and couldn't even imagine it exists. Someone gives them that tip. And I think everyone here has heard of something called melatonin. Well, I heard about that at a conference in 1991. A NASA engineer asked me about it, asking why we weren't selling it. I said, I think it's illegal, number one, and I've never even heard of it, number two. So I looked into it. And wow, all that data, 5,000 published studies on melatonin. We brought it out. The whole industry brought it out. Some people sleep better with it. It helps to prevent cancer, slow aging, all kind of good stuff. I never would have learned about melatonin, nor would the rest of the world, had I not heard it in person at an immortality conference in 1991. So just a reason to attend RAADfest. The known, great speakers, great information we know being disseminated, plus interacting with people one-on-one, finding out maybe a solution to a chronic problem or a way to live a lot longer.
Great.
Yeah,
Good point.
and that's one of the things that's so amazing about Rad City, because there are of exhibits that you can take advantage of. You can talk with the people who have the exhibits. It's really fun and it's exciting, and there's a lot of interaction between the people which is really,
Yeah,
I think, good.
Yeah,
because-
absolutely. That's one of the great things about
Yeah.
RAADfest is we we don't do breakouts. In other words, we set the stage for there to be a full all-out experience, all of us having the same experience at the same time, which creates better interaction. We found. So in other words, when the Rad Fest stage is on the main stage, is Rad City, the exhibit hall is closed,
Yeah.
and then vice versa. So everybody's having, when we're in the main hall, we're all in there, and then we move into the exhibit hall, and it not only gives a lot of traffic to the exhibitors, of course, but enables us to interact in both arenas in a
Right,
great way. I mean, the
right.
speakers, we've encouraged all of our speakers to go into the exhibit hall, and they do. And there's a speakers, visitation section. Of course, we'll be serving, wine and hors d'oeuvres in these situations too for people. But they'll also be able to experience what we call the marketplace of the future. People who are marketing products and innovations that profit from life rather than death. And, we were talking earlier about this, that numbers matter, everybody. So bring your guests, show up at RAADfest. We're moving to make an impact in the world. The more people we get together in one arena, the more attention we draw. We have goals to eventually have thousands of people together. Already we're drawing press from all over the world. We're gonna have a lot of press there, and that helps get the word out. Because when Dr. Kaufman was speaking about going back to her hometown and seeing all these people who were aged, and she was such a contrast. My heart goes out to these people. It's because they don't have the information. They don't know. This is what Bernie and I, this is what one of our big goals is to get this information out to the public. Then they can make a choice themselves. But my heart goes out to them because so many people just don't know. And so I think we all need to be impassioned to get this information out. And one of the biggest ways is to have these, increase our numbers, get more and more people there. It attracts the media. They get the word out. It attracts the word of mouth. And then we create what we call that critical mass. So that's been our goal from the start in starting RAADfest in 2016. And hadn't it been for the pandemic, we'd have been in, a lot bigger numbers already. But we are growing, and we want to encourage everybody to help us do that. And the best way you can do it is be there. If you have any feeling at all about staying alive, be there and help.
Other things that presenters are looking forward to at RAADfest.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward, echoing what Jim said about just getting everybody in the same room, all these great minds, and also the participants as well, asking those thought-provoking questions that I hadn't thought of. But just I just ordered Sandra's new book from Amazon. I can't wait to get it. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of questions for her. And Dr. Kiprov's, I read your new article on geroscience that just dropped, and I've got a bunch of questions for you. And now we'll be together on that. And both bills, I want to get in conversations with you and also hear the latest from Liz that's going on. So I think just the dynamic and the, like you say, unexpected ideas, the conversations with everyone is going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
Yes,
for sure.
Excellent.
I've got to add, I think Robert's going to really enjoy Sandra's book. And I've been doing aging research for 40 years, but most of my regimen is based on everything I've read from Dr. Kaufman's book. So I definitely recommend it for everybody.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, her first one was great. Yeah.
And the second one's just as good, if not better. I want to add though that staying healthy is not easy. People have to work hard. They have to stay proactive. It's healthy lifestyle. A healthy life isn't going to be handed to people on a silver platter. So people have to read books like Dr. Kaufman's book and actually then follow through. And I do want to add, there's a lot of research going on to kind of control aging, and there's a lot of theories on what their aging is, and they all might be true. In fact, I think that RAADfest has the best collection of minds in trying to treat aging that I know of anywhere. And believe me, this might sound nonsense, but a lot of us think that the research that we want to do, because we have to test these theories, we have to show they work, and we think that's actually not going to be very difficult to do. It's going to be kind of easy. The big obstacle is insufficient funding And so I'm hoping that one of the things that comes out of RAADfest is that people are become aware of this and listen to people like Bill Faloon. I mean, Bill's going to be talking a lot about the necessity of bringing in funding to complete a lot of this research. People need to spread the word that the science is real. There really is some really great research going on to cure aging from all different directions. But we need to find ways to spread the word so the audience's friends that are wealthy, that spend all their time complaining about getting old, saying put their money into some better like return on investment than just financial return on investment. Put it on quality of life return on investment. That's what's important. We got to do that. And we also have to get in the audience to encourage government organizations to start recognizing aging as a disease so that more grant funding can be provided to a lot of research on aging.
Well said, Bill.
I can go on, but that's
Yeah, well said. Yeah, great.
Dr. Kiprov, please.
Yes, I would like to echo what Jim said, that RAAD puts a lot of people together and spreads information and informs people who are not scientists but are interested in what we do. And that's very important. And I would like to say that Bill Faloon was very helpful to us through your organization to promote our new double-blind controlled clinical trial on plasmapheresis in aging. And with Bill's help and your help, we were able to gather all the people that we need for this trial. I don't know if you knew that, but I was a co-founder of a new company called Lifespan, which was able to fund this study. Speaking of funding, which is not easy, this time we found it. And there is an ongoing clinical trial. I'll talk about it at RAADfest. But without your help, we probably wouldn't have been able to gather all the people that we needed.
Well, that's a great example of working together. Dr. Kiprov's group approached our age reversal network. It's kind of like an offshoot of our life extension group. And those are the hardcore people that want to do something about aging. We said, well, we'll make the announcement about your clinical trial. Hopefully we'll fill it up. And I'm so grateful to hear you tell me right now, we filled up your trial, because I didn't really know. I knew you got like 80 responses, but I didn't know if it filled everything up for you. So great.
Thank you very much. We got a lot of wonderful responses, and we're very grateful.
It's collaboration, working together, and that's what the idea of getting together at a meeting like RAADfest, where you're talking to people one-on-one, and it makes progress occur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that collaboration doesn't stop at the people who are on stage. I mean, the people who attend RAADfest are a huge asset.
Yeah,
they're some of the most. They're hardcore. Like Bill said, we're hardcore. We're hardcore about this, about advancing this revolution. Yeah. The people who are in the audience are informed, they're curious, they're activated. They're some of the people you want to know.
Yeah, that's right.
That they're the people that you want to build your longevity circle out of, your longevity community out of. Everybody needs a community. Everybody needs a community of like-minded people that are supporting you. Mm-hmm. It's not fun to an immortalist, longevity activist out on your own. And it's not efficient either.
Yeah, it's not productive.
It's not efficient. Trying to keep up with even just what these guys talked about here on your own is just like difficult.
Yeah.
And there's so much more. So what about you, Liz?
Well, I, of course, am interested in hearing everything that is going on in the community, because all of us in our different silos certainly are vastly unaware of the advances being made in other places, and I'm excited about that. And I'm really excited about hearing Dr. Lufkin speak about rapamycin. And I'm excited about hearing Sandra Kaufman talk about all of her interventions. I always mean to do this. I'm terrible at taking pills, and I swear if I'm going to get on anyone's protocol, it's going to be Dr. Kaufman. So I'm going to do it probably this year. It'll be my New Year's resolution for 2023, but you don't want to know me in nutraceuticals. I've made myself sick way too many times. So she's got the plan, and I'm going to go with it. Bill, I always love hearing Bill speak. I mean, are you crazy? And I'm always interested in the translation of the parabiosis studies from the convoys to humans. So that's all really exciting, but there are more speakers that I'm excited about as well. And so if you're coming, go look at the list. And mostly what I'm excited about is meeting you, whoever you are who are watching this and are considering coming or think you're coming, please do come, because we haven't seen other humans for a long time. And I've only started traveling again in the last like 6 months or so. And so, it's still new to me. So I'll be really afraid to get up there. So you're going to have to push me. But, my favorite part is just meeting the people. And so I know that this year we won't get a ton of hugs, but everyone knows that like I'm the hug queen, and I'm going to miss that, but I will be happy to see you and I will be happy to talk to you. So if you still have some people on the fence, get excited and at least come and see me and let's chat. Okay.
Right. That is right.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to speak again because I want to say I'm in awe of every speaker. The RAADfest has an amazing group of people, but now Liz didn't ask me not to say what I'm about to say, but I'm surprised she hasn't said this, but she's spearheading a really fantastic new initiative called Best Choice Medicine. And I'm hoping she's going to be talking about this. I am supporting her in every way I can on this. I think it's going to be a great way if she can succeed, in which I think she will. It'll make it so that people, especially people in the audience and stuff like that, they will be able to get treatments. If they have a life-threatening disease or a disease that makes life not worth living, they can get this will help them be able to be treated with experimental treatments that the FDA would normally not allow people to get treated with. A lot of people are dying because they can't get treated by treatments that could save their lives just because they're experimental. But I hope Liz Parrish is going to be talking more about the Best Choice Medicine, because I'm very excited about it. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I agree.
I am. I did mention that, but I didn't allude to all of it because I was trying to be somewhat secretive, but I am glad you mentioned that. I am. And I did not forget, but to my, I guess, virtual, my right, and maybe my virtual left, I'm not sure about your screen, but Bill Faloon, I always love his wrap up of everything going on in the industry. Like if you get to see one thing, if you could only go see one thing, go see Bill Faloon talk, because he's going to tell you everything that's happening. And if you are as smart as he is, you will actually be able to keep up. And if not, you're going to have to watch it on video after. So, yeah. But I will be talking about Best Choice Medicine too. Thank you, Bill. I mean, Bill's been a big part of getting that going as well. And so people getting access to technology that does not yet meet the deleterious requirements of the US FDA that are not predictive of a positive outcome in humans. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about speeding up drug development by over a decade, and how you can be part of that, and how you can get the dignity to take your civil rights and use them towards a better future for our children and hopefully yourself.
I like
What
that.
this is talking about is breaking down the bureaucratic barriers that are impeding clinical trials being initiated and progressing. And a lot of people don't realize the FDA determines what kind of clinical trial you're allowed to do. They interfere while the trial is going on, and a lot of good research never even gets up off the ground. And when it does, 5 to 10 years late, and that means a lot of people unnecessarily dying. So it's a project I'm working on with Liz and Bill and a number of other people to move forward clinical research without the kind of unnecessary delays the FDA is imposing on us.
Yeah, we want that. So just to give you a quick rundown, we have panels at RAADfest dedicated to stem cell, a stem cell panel to look at all the different strategies for stem cells, which there's a lot of, a citizen science panel, visionaries panel, regenerative medicine practitioners panel, groundbreakers panel, therapeutic plasma exchange, industry experts, and future makers. So those are all the panels that are going to be covered at RAADfest. We have time for a few questions. Sandra, are you okay with us posting your email, or do you want to do that a different way? Any way you want is fine.
You know, it's funny. You guys were saying very erudicious and important things, so I didn't want to interrupt. But I'm getting flooded with emails, so I love your population. Your conference goers are just the most amazingly enthusiastic people in the world. So I don't think you need to put it out there because apparently everyone already knows what it is.
Okay, good.
But if you don't, it's kaufmanaai@gmail.com.
A few people are asking for it. We have a question. We have a little bit of time for Q&A. We have a question for Dr. Kiprov. Can you give an update on the status of life? I don't think they're saying that, written that right. Life planned clinical trial using apheresis methods?
Yes. Yes. We're ready to start, and probably the first patients will start treatments mid to the end of September. We're collaborating with the Buck Institute for Aging. We have the setup for the placebo, the sham apheresis, which I will show you how it's done. It's very complicated and interesting process, but it's very elaborate, and I'll probably have a short video to show you. And again, we're very grateful to Bill because we got a lot of responses. If people are still interested, please contact us. globalapheresis.com is where you can find all the information to how to contact us. This is not going to be the only clinical trial we're doing. Hopefully we'll be successful in the preliminary study, and then we'll be doing other more extended clinical trials. So you have a chance to enroll even if we are full at the moment.
Thank you for that. This is a question for Dr. Lufkin. What do you think of the different combinations of rapamycin and metformin?
Extremely exciting, and I'm going to be covering that at RAADfest. But in a nutshell, as amazing as rapamycin is, that when it's combined with other drugs like metformin or acarbose, or certain lifestyle metabolic interventions, the effects go beyond just what is possible with rapamycin. So we're definitely going to get into that.
Oh, okay. So we shouldn't get off the metformin. Okay. Will Dr. Kaufman's book be published in a Kindle edition? Any questions?
So yes, I'm working on it. Yes.
Okay, good answer. This is a long one. Jose Cordero writes some long questions, but I think it's a good one. Let me see here. This is for Bill and Liz, Bill Andrews and Liz. When we talked about telomerase therapy in 2015, long ago, before RAADfest was created, yes, in the before time, Liz was injected with telomerase in Colombia. What has really happened in terms of telomerase treatments?
Well, people are getting treated with telomerase reverse transcriptase gene therapy. A lot of people think that BioViva is treating people. We actually cannot treat people outside of a clinical trial, but we do work with medical tourism companies that are doing it. I believe there's probably several around the world. We deal with one because it's really important that we use human data in order to push drugs forward. So if you know of a clinic that is doing human gene therapy, please send them to us so we can assess the data, take a look at it, and understand better what it means in the future. But I am alive and well, and other people have shown great interest in that therapy, and I imagine a lot of people will take it once it's affordable. But I do hear tell that people are taking that gene therapy.
Okay.
And let me add, there's at least 4 companies that I know of that are really putting a lot of enthusiastic effort into trying to make gene therapy more available and stuff. And that includes like BioViva especially, but it also includes Maria Blasco's company in Spain. It includes Mike Fossil's company, Telocyte. It's in the United States. I can't remember exactly where. And it includes, my research trying trying to get things off the ground to get some treatments going. But the big limit in everybody's case is the funding. Okay, so again, we come back to the funding. If there was somehow more funding available to get these gene therapies going, there would be a lot more testing of gene therapy, telomerase gene therapy, and other gene therapies to treat aging.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that again, Bill, because everybody that can work on this issue of funding, the better, and get the word out of what's needed, because we can get things, like you said, there's so many great innovations right on the table now that can be expedited, and we can have at our disposal if we just get the funding. And you know, the Coalition for Radical Life Extension is helping right now in Liz's BioVivas program to get funding for this gene therapy for dementia. And so anybody that we're working to help raise funds for that, we're one of the organizations doing that. And that's, of course, the Coalition, for those who don't know, is the producer of RAADfest. But anybody else that can, that's listening to this and knows anybody that would be interested in helping out that level and maybe being a part of the study with BioViva would be great, and contact us at the Coalition for Radical Life Extension office. And we would appreciate that, because we want to push this forward. Getting funding for everybody, but we want to break that glass ceiling, right, and get things really moving. So, thank you.
Yeah. So you can make it.
Absolutely. So if you're really interested in how do these therapies work, but you don't want to be a candidate, help other people be candidates, because they have life-threatening diseases, they have terminal illnesses. And the more people that come forward to actually donate to their treatments, the more likely you are to see these treatments in your lifetime. So, definitely please donate. It's one of actually the biggest impacts that you can make on your future health. Is human data. That is what will get a drug into clinical trials. That is what will push the FDA towards having to approve these therapies for clinical trials and getting them to you more quickly.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, so the Coalition is a nonprofit, so you can make a contribution to the nonprofit.
That's right.
To support BioViva's work with gene therapy on this dementia study.
Yeah, we're actually in the process of collecting those funds so that we can distribute them and get this work done. So, okay.
So here's a question about stress. This is for everybody. How big is the impact of stress on aging? What percentage of aging is due to stress?
Psychological stress, oxidative stress, there's all of them, but psychological stress is a big impact. And I recommend people read Elisa Eppel's book that discusses that a lot. And she's a probably top leader in the field on the role of stress in aging.
Very good.
Great.
Other comments? Anybody else have something on stress? You guys look pretty relaxed about it.
Well, I imagine that I would look 20 if I wasn't so stressed out about curing your aging.
We know that feeling. We know that feeling.
That's the dilemma we're in. If we're going to push the science forward, it involves some psychological stress on all of us. And we just have to make that sacrifice for the benefit of humanity.
That's right.
So yeah, we could sit back and relax, not have any stress, but then there'd be no advancement in the science. So just try to mitigate it wherever you can.
Yeah, the more we move together, what I've also experienced, the more we move together, we're able to, I'll use the term, distribute this stress out some. When that's what happens. I see this happen at RAADfest. People come there sometimes very stressful, and then they start finding out, I see this that I can do for my life, or others are feeling like I do, and they get inspired, and then they get, it helps alleviate that stress. So it's kind of, we spread this out, so the impact isn't on no one given person. And this is what we want to do too. It's another reason for us to, and because it's very encouraging for me. I mean, it helps me rest better at night when I know a lot of people are working on this and a lot of people are engaged.
And I think, like David Kekich would say, go and find your tribe, right? So we're all people on this call that have to push into new territories, and we have to meet new people and turn people onto new ideas. And that is stressful, and we get attacked, and it is what it is. But when you go to RAADfest, you kind of meet your tribe. You meet a bunch of it's just a group of the nicest people I have ever met.
Yeah.
And I mean, if nothing else, I do believe it will extend your lifespan just to meet those people and have them in your life. And we don't really get time to do that, you know, so I only get to do that once a year, and I get to go and see everyone. And it's kind of like this extended family that's rooting for you and you're rooting for them. I mean, what is longevity if we don't have each other to drive each other nuts, right? You know, that's the fun of it. And like, I mean, they are like genuinely nice people. So, you know, if you're missing good people in your life, you know, David Kekich always said that you have to have your tribe.
Yeah.
You know, these are people that you never met. And, you know, at RAADfest, you know, you're going to find a whole bunch of your best friends who are actually rooting for you to live a longer, healthier life that you didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Thank you for saying that, Liz. You know, Dr. Jyothi, will be speaking at RAADfest, and I was talking to her last night. She actually is involved in a really expansive longevity company now, and we had a great talk. And she was saying to me, she was saying, well, to Bernie and I both, she's saying thanking us for bringing this family chemistry, you might say. She's the way she worded it, to RAADfest. this feeling of family, that people can actually feel this. Excuse me. This camaraderie together, this connection.
Choked up.
I'm choked up about this now. I might start weeping at any moment, but no, it was touching to hear, because she was really elaborate about it, in the sense that she said there's no event that she's ever been to, or science event, that has this, what Liz was talking about, this feeling of family or tribal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, that people really have this feeling about helping each other. And they're all are really engaged with each other in a way they want to collaborate. They have a bigger purpose in life. And I've always said, to have a big purpose really can motivate us in ways that we've never felt before. And that's what Bernie and I have. We have that purpose to live like all of you guys do. And so we find this collaboration deep in our own guts together. And I think that's vital, to have this kind of feeling that we're creating. And it's building all the time. I mean, we're getting people contact us, and it's really why they want to be at RAADfest, a lot of them, because they want to, they want to feel that camaraderie. They want to feel that connection too, along with getting all the great scientific information.
That's right. I think that's a good remind everybody of the offer that is, which is along with your regular registration, you can get register a friend or loved one or your whole tribe. You can register your whole tribe at $200 less. So if you register for the normal amount, which is $851, you can register your friends for $650, as many people as you want. So please take advantage of that. And and I want to thank the panel. You guys did fantastic. And this is the energy and the spirit of RAADfest, as well as the science. It's the science and the spirit.
I'm willing to stay around to try to answer some questions. I see there's 10 people who have questions. If I can answer some of them, I'll be here.
Actually, I have a question. Why 851?
Don't know.
That makes no sense at all. 851.
Well, I don't know. That's a tough question, Sandra. I think it's just the pricing structure that we have. And
If $1 is going to make or break you, it seems a little strange.
Most people pay with credit cards anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Actually,
You should give them $201 off.
We just can't go that far. That's crazy. That's crazy talk right there.
That's giving way too much away.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everybody again of you guys presented, and again, looking forward to seeing you at RAADfest, and thank everybody online. And yes, be there at RAADfest, everybody that's listening, and bring a friend. I'm looking forward to personally meeting you and having great conversations. So let's do it.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thanks so
Hey.
much.